It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Defending in the corner! To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win! The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker! Kenneth Walker! Touchdown! Smarty! Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up. Yes! Caught! Touchdown Detroit Lions! They did it! Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end! Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here! A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. I'm back. This is Dan.
Dan's back.
And of course we're having connection issues with Anthony. I mean, what better way to welcome me back than connection issues? It's Tuesday, April 18th. The Tigers might play baseball today. They might play 2 today.
I don't know. Weather's projected.
It's gonna be cold.
Just any type of weather. Because, it doesn't really have to be raining for the Tigers to postpone a game.
I haven't been here, so I did show up like right as they canceled the game yesterday. I got back into Detroit.
Well, they didn't want to wait 5 hours today to cancel the game.
Yeah. So now we're going to hopefully play baseball today. Although I'm going to be cold in my booth. Anthony, can you hear us?
He's getting his headphones
on.
on.
Okay. There he is. Look at that. He gave me the claps.
Dan the man.
Anthony gave you the clap?
What?
Jeez, not already. What? We finally get power, and this is what we gotta walk into here. Dan, it's good to see you, my friend.
Hi.
Well, everyone's just having a great day, so I don't know.
We're
I
off
don't know
to
what kind of news we're expecting here.
I'm back.
You are back, man. I cannot wait
Safe.
to hear all about this wild adventure that you took down to Memphis in the opening week of the USFL. And my goodness, I mean, geez, like, come on, guys. Like, get the people from point A to point B, would you? But yeah, there's that. There is plenty to get into from last night's NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs. The Tigers.
There's like too much.
Postponed. Oh, it's the best time of the year. The best time of the year. It runs. It kind of carries over a little bit from March Madness, and then boom, you get to this point, and it'll be games every night, and then all of a sudden, it'll come to an end, and then we'll have to wait.
NBA's already off to great scheduling for their playoff series. Play Sunday, off until Wednesday.
Oh,
no
yeah,
traveling.
I don't really actually, care about the individual schedule per series as long as there's something on every night. To me, turning on the games last night, you had the Sixers and Nets. It's the Sixers series.
See, Joel Embiid just flopping all over the place.
But the Kings and the Warriors late night last night, oh my goodness, was that great.
Yeah, nice 10 o'clock start so I can watch 20 minutes of it.
Incredible. So we'll talk about that. Draymond Green was ejected for stomping on Domantas Sabonis' chest. We'll talk about all that.
That was a nice Seth freaking Rollins stomp.
A little WWE reference.
I'm just saying that was Sabonis did his best acting job.
Hey, whatever it takes. But, it's Ndamukong Suh, right? I mean, same sort of deal here.
Draymond. Draymond, baby. Woo! Can't wait. So, yeah, very excited about today's program. Text the keyword sports radio. Send it to 21,000 sports radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176. 248-951-2176. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Add a .com to that to find our website. Danny Cahalan is at Dan in the studio. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. Just glad that Dan could be back with us. I was worried.
Dude, it was quite the experience. It stinks. Like, it took a long time, and it was a long day, and it was a long 36 hours. But it was a very cool experience because we just sat there for 5-6 hours and got to talk to the coaching staff and the players. So, yeah, it was very fun.
Man.
Other than sitting on a bus.
So you guys all traveled together, like crew and team?
They went on Friday. I did not travel with them because I worked Friday night baseball. I flew in by myself Saturday. And then, yes, we were planning to travel back at 4 p.m. Sunday. And they said the flight was delayed by about 4 hours. So they sent us to see John Wick. Then we went back on the bus for 2 hours, / just walked around the complex of the movie theater, went to Whole Foods, got a couple 6-packs, hung out on the bus. 2 hours later, they take us to the airport. We sit at the airport for an hour. And then the pilots decided to tell us that they were timed out and couldn't fly us home.
Wow.
So Sunday night at midnight, they had to book rooms for about 120 people.
Wow. Did they ever tell you what the issue was with the
plane could not get out of Miami to come pick us up because of weather.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Fort Lauderdale was supposed to be underwater, right?
Yeah, they got like 20-something inches in a night.
In 24 hours. Yeah, the most rain in a 24-hour span Fort Lauderdale has ever seen. What I don't understand is I kept seeing videos and whatnot from like the area, and it looked like everything was fine. Like I don't understand.
Yeah, I did see like a few days ago. I saw the video of what you're talking about. It was like just cars underwater, up to their tires, and now it's fine. I don't know. Maybe it dries up quick.
Like my younger cousin, she was at the Tortuga Festival down there. I don't know what. I've never heard of such festival. It's like a country music concert festival named Tortuga. Hell if I know. I can't keep up with these kids. Somebody's got to be here to work, but I mean, the first day that they were there, she went down for a bachelorette party, and the bride had to change her flight and fly into Atlanta because she couldn't get to Fort Lauderdale, and then drove from Atlanta. Now, I mean, talk about a rough start to the bachelorette party. Atlanta to Fort Lauderdale is not a quick drive. Like, that's not just around the corner. And so, you have that, but then, it's like cars underwater. What's going on? Then, like, poof, everything was fine. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. The Tigers, they got postponed again. Jalen Carter got to pay a visit with the Detroit Lions, using one of their top 30 visits on Jalen Carter. What does that mean for this team moving forward, and what his status might be if he is there at 6? We'll dive into that. Your biggest concern or priority to be hit on in the upcoming draft. The most hectic, fast-paced, frantic, best-bad game I've ever seen. And, of course, the Stanley Cup. So lots to get to today. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Have you ever played golf at Tullymore, St. Ives? Have you experienced a stay-and-play package in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids? Well, here's what you need to do if you want to take advantage of great deals right now. Go to TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com, and you'll see the link for packages, accommodations, dining, meetings, weddings, events, and so much more, and especially golf on the 18-hole layout at Tullymore and the 18 holes at St. Ives. And they can accommodate any group, whether it's 2 people getting together or 200 looking for a weekend or an overnight celebration. That includes a little business, golf, great food, and beverages. Just go to TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com. They're located in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of GR. Get more info at TullymoreGolf.com.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! Go! No, first base! Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you ride along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well. From Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, we say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you to join the program at any time. Text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000 Sports Radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176, 248-951-2176. So a little bit of an extended break here with games off Sunday and Monday for the Detroit Tigers. We have a doubleheader today, 1:10 first pitch for game number 1, followed up by 4:40, and then a 1:10 pitch tomorrow as the Tigers will hit the road and head to Baltimore for an off day Thursday, and then begin the first of 3 against the Orioles this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with Saturday night's game being an FS1 broadcast at 7:05. But it does feel weird this time of year, having back-to-back games off for the Tigers. Doesn't it feel like they haven't played in forever? Can you imagine if they had a schedule that was like the NHL or the NBA, where they only played 82 games, what it would feel like with these massive breaks in between?
Yeah, it would stink.
3 and 4 days, knowing that you're going to have, one of your aces basically pitch.
Yeah, but you would also, the hitting would plummet.
You think it would take a little bit?
Oh my God, you'd have extremely fresh arms all the time.
Oh yeah,
and guys not seeing pitches every day. Yeah.
Extremely fresh arms and extremely rusty bats. That is a hell of a combination. And Dan, obviously with you being stuck in Memphis, Ryan played a special song for you yesterday. I forget what it was. Something about Memphis.
Oh, it's in the song. It's that last. Scroll down the gray box. It's that.
Walking in Memphis. There. Nice.
Yeah. Nice. Who was that? Bruce Springsteen?
No.
Mark Cohen, yeah. This has been a hit by like 20 different people.
Well, it was great yesterday, and I wondered, obviously with you not being here yesterday, I wondered what your thoughts or your takeaways were from the Tigers after their 3-1 win with the benching of Javi in the Toronto game after he got thrown out by his own manager. To be able to come back and win back-to-back games in extras, 7-5, 7-6 in 11 innings each. If you thought that might be the turn for this team, it was Thursday night in Toronto. That sounds like a Drake song. Was that a turning point for this club? And does this stoppage of postponements, does this come at like the absolute worst time?
Yes, I think it does. This stinks, and the fact. I don't know who they're facing from the staff today, but 41 degrees at first pitch today. It's tough to carry momentum from 72 hours ago, isn't it? Especially going into a series against a division opponent. Like you were facing the Giants. Oh boy.
Yeah, now you're facing the Guardians.
Yeah, and the evening out of the schedule does change that a little bit. I don't know how many games we're playing against division opponents. It can't be maybe 12 compared to it used to be 19 or something like that. So, yeah, these are going to mean more to the Tigers, so I hope they can carry the momentum. I mean, we want the whole Lou Brown, 3 in a row. It's a winning streak.
It'll be interesting to see what they can do tonight. Matt Boyd supposed to be on the mound, then Rodriguez in Turnbull for this 2-day extravaganza now against the Guardians. Interesting, they beat the Giants and then have to play another team with another mascot that's based on a very large thing, the Guardians. But then Joey Wentz to lead things off on the schedule in Baltimore. Good for the arms, bad for the bats. Maybe this does work in the Tigers' favor, a team that, although in the last couple of games scoring 14 runs is great, up until that point, really hadn't done much on the offensive side of things. So maybe it actually does help them a little bit more than it will Cleveland, because it gives you your pitcher a couple days off more
and
than
the
normal.
bullpen.
And the bullpen.
The bullpen
yes.
needed it. They were getting worked.
Bullpen's seen a lot of innings, a lot of innings for the guys in the back end. And, for Cleveland, postponement, what does it do to them? Does it rattle their cage enough to where the Tigers can take advantage? You have to work any of these games today?
Oh, I'm working. Yeah, I'll be there.
All right.
I am proud of Major League Baseball. I know they did it because it's cold out today. But back-to-back doubleheaders, it needs to happen more. The whole, we'll do it after 4 or 5, we'll call – no.
Oh, the split doubleheader? Terrible.
No, can't do the splits anymore. They really can't. I think maybe they realize that because you just can't have guys sitting around from 3 o'clock. If it's a 2-hour game, the guy, from 3 o'clock to 6:40 is a very long time.
Yeah,
to be sitting around the ballpark.
It's just dumb. There's nothing better than the back-to-back doubleheader the way that it used to be. 9th inning ends, grounds crew comes up, rakes the dirt. Managers, they go put their lineup cards together. Let's meet at home plate, exchange these cards. There you go. Slap hands, see on the other side type of deal, and then boom, right back into it. Many a doubleheader worked in my days.
This is going to be, because of the length of games, it's maybe kind of going to feel like the 7-inning doubleheaders.
Those are the best. There's nothing better than the 7-inning doubleheader.
It was great getting the 8th inning man out there in the 6th. It was like, I love this.
From somebody working baseball games, there's nothing better than the 7-inning doubleheader. It's the perfect length. You watch it once, you're like, you know what? This should be every game. Starters should be going complete games. Let's go. Fire up. But outside of that, let's hope that the Tigers can pick up where they left off prior to the postponements and see how radical this fan base really, really is, because they didn't know how to handle themselves. Couple wins in a row, and I hop on Twitter and people are just losing their gourds. So good for them. Something to cheer for is definitely a positive. All right, folks, want to remind you, NBA action is here. Did you watch any of the games last night? You should have. Absolute chaos. That means big hoops action over DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the association. Get in on all the excitement every game with the touch of a button. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline wager, score $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. It's as simple as that, folks. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the promo code HUGE, and did you know everyone can score on the no-sweat same-game parlays every day during the NBA playoffs? How righteous is that? Open up the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, place the same-game parlay any NBA game. If it doesn't hit, you'll get a bonus bet back up to $10. That's what's happening. A lot of bonuses right now at DraftKings. All you got to do is download the app, use the promo code HUGE. We got games tonight. Now's a good time. Try it out. Hawks Celtics, 7 o'clock. Take every Hawks prop you can see. Knicks Cavs at 7:30. Clippers Suns at 10 o'clock. So you get the triple header tonight. Download the app right now. Sign up using the promo code HUGE. New customers make a $5 pregame moneyline wager and score $150 in bonus bets when your team wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with the promo code HUGE. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Opt-in is required. One bonus bet issued based on the amount of the initial losing NBA bet. Eligibility, wagering, deposit restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. We're back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Garter can help your business today. Go to beangarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
The 1-2. Right side, there it is! Hey, sports fans, here's a hanging curveball that you can knock out of the ballpark. This is Matt Shepard, the voice of Detroit baseball, inviting you to step up to the plate at Eagle Casino and Sports, the mobile sports book where you can bet on all your favorites all year round, including, of course, our national pastime. So download the app and start winning today. Eagle Casino and Sports, made in Michigan, made for Michigan. Must be 21 years or older and in Michigan to play.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! Go! No, first base! Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
You're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000. Or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now back to Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, and Anthony Bellino.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you ride along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well. You text the keyword sports radio, send that to 21,000, or give us a dial on the Myers Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176. We do have some texts here I want to get to. But first, I got to ask Dan about his Memphis trip. How'd you like Memphis, Dan? What'd you see down there?
Listening. The barbecue was great. Liberty Bowl. The stadium is cool. Like, the bowl is awesome. It looks sweet. It's outdated, but it's cool. The field looks awesome. The field was great. Memphis, it's hard to explain how dilapidated it is. Like, you go through Detroit, and there will be a block, a neighborhood, an entire neighborhood that's pretty well kept. And, then you go to the next neighborhood, and it's not. I mean, it's miles and miles worth of burnt out houses in Memphis.
Really?
And not just, abandoned buildings, abandoned strip malls. The Graceland strip mall is abandoned right next to Graceland. It's
the photos on the internet. It looks really nice.
Like downtown,
a lot on Beale Street.
Downtown, I didn't get to go to Beale Street. Downtown seemed nice. I will say that, but the downtown is not large, and yeah, it's the Uber drivers tell you just go and get in the car and we'll leave. Like, if you go to a restaurant.
Really?
Yes. Like, they will tell you, like, don't walk down the street. I will pick you up at the door.
Interesting. Huh, that dangerous.
Yeah.
Wow. Sad.
I mean, and Graceland was beautiful. Very cool. It gives you chills to be in there. And same with the Lorraine Motel, where the National Civil Rights Museum is. Being in the room and seeing the balcony where MLK was shot, that's crazy. But yeah, the town around the two museums, not good.
Well, I mean, and I guess here's a comparison for folks prior to the development and reinvestment into Woodward. How would you like the Brush Park Douglas area there between 75 and Woodward? What it used to just be all of those, Victorian era homes that were built like with that special architecture. Now they've refurbished some and others. I mean, it was just blight. It was arson. It was abandonment. It was just, would you say it's somewhat similar to that area?
Yeah. I mean, I live the Jefferson Chalmers. I live in that community, basically, that it looks a lot like that. But the Jefferson Chalmers, the Duggan administration, their number one thing has been tearing down the houses that are burnt out. So it's, a lot of Detroit is just open fields now instead of houses.
Right.
This is just miles and miles of houses, and then a restaurant shut down, and then miles and miles of it's an eerie feeling. It really is.
Interesting. One of those towns from zombie apocalypse, right? Like you're driving around, you're like, geez, Louise, what happened here? I just thought that was interesting because I've never been to Memphis. I've heard about Memphis.
I cannot tell you how it's, if you're not even an Elvis fan. Like, I like Elvis. I get, everybody knows Elvis, right? Yes, he stole like all his hits, but whatever. Go. You have to just go there and see, like, be in the place that he lived.
You're instructing me to go somewhere where an Uber driver told you that you're not safe to walk down the street. Why would I want to go there? Because
you just have to go to.
I don't.
You can stay at Graceland for the night and just do the trip. Even just go there, the trip, going through like the 4 or 5 museums. And then going to the house, it's about a 4-hour experience, maybe. Then you can leave.
Oh, yeah.
Go to the Lorraine Motel. That's about 2 hours, and then you're good. Get some barbecue.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see if my travels ever take me to a Memphis Grizzlies game. No wonder John Morant acts the way that he does. While you were down there, we were busy, Ryan and I, fighting crime here this weekend. It was a hectic weekend in downtown Detroit, to say the least. But you had went to were you out in Greektown Friday prior to the shooting that took place?
I was at the Belt. We were at the Belt.
I just talked about that last night
prior to that
with Gian. The Belt is kind of a hidden little gem in the little area.
It's the Z lot.
Yeah, one of the little areas that is growing in popularity. One of the, Standby and all those places. They're great. That's going to be the next area that's going. I don't want to be this way, but it's just there's too much traffic. It's an alleyway. It's bar after bar after bar. There's a ton of people there. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But, I mean, the big fight that took place was right in front of Buffalo Wild Wings. If you know where Buffalo Wild Wings is, right there off of, what is it? Where is that?
Monroe and...
right by the Belt.
Yeah. It's at Monroe, not John R. I'm
Brush.
Not sure. Brush.
Is it
might
Brush
be.
that comes in? It might. I don't know. It's not good though, folks. It's not good. We got some issues. Got some text messages here. Noah from Toledo. Who do you guys want to win the Stanley Cup playoffs? I want the Tampa Bay Lightning. I hope you guys have a great Tuesday. Well, thank you, Noah. Picking the Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't know how I feel about that. Gentlemen, who's your pick for this?
Who's my pick?
I
mean, I'm going to pick the Lightning, but who do I want? Nobody. I don't care. I want.
You're not gonna pick Boston?
No. My girlfriend said she wanted to text her cousins from Boston, go Bruins last night. I said, not allowed.
Yeah, no.
Don't do that.
Nope.
I don't want the Bruins. I will take the Lightning to win.
Okay. I think it's going to be the Bruins. If they were to win, I mean, it's a pretty incredible. By the way, it's right there on Randolph and Monroe would be your intersection there for B-Dubs.
The Bruins, they said it in the first couple minutes. They said it after they took the 1-0 lead. They lost one game all season that they scored first.
It's a special team. Bertuzzi stole a guy's stick last night. NBA yawn emoji. Opening night of the NHL playoffs. 3 1-goal games. One went to overtime. One went to double OT, and a 2-goal game. That comes from Ken Tar. I saw Ken yesterday. Stopped in at the old grocery store to say hi. He was looking for a snack. That was funny. And then after seeing the God Iserman during his 1 hour and 30-minute year-end presser, I felt terrible for him. I wish he had 2 megastars here when he took the job. I wish he had any stars here when he took the job. That one came in from Freddie. I wish he would have had any stars here when he got the job. But yeah, he did. He took to the podium. He had a lot to say, and geez, they're not where they want to be. I don't know how else he has to say it. I think it was good for him, for the fans to hear him say, like, you know, when Helene had asked him, like, hey, how would you evaluate? This is, you know, basically the end of year 4, and he's like, it's okay. Like, I wish we were further along in the process. We knew it was going to take some time, but you know, it's very, very interesting. All right, shifting gears now over to the NFL draft. The Detroit Lions used one of their top 30 visits on defensive lineman Jalen Carter. And is this the biggest question mark in the draft right now? I mean, everybody else, I feel like, I don't know if we have another off-the-field problem like we do with Jalen Carter. And correct me if I'm wrong, if you know of a story of someone, but I don't know of anybody in the first round that you're really looking at the guy going, nah, I don't know. And so as I was sifting through some literature on the internet yesterday, I came across a Lions fan account that was already talking about Jalen Carter and mental health. Excuse me? And that's why he wasn't prepared for his pro day. Pardon me? You mean to tell me that, like, at what point was it the racing that got, you know, your teammates killed? Is that the part that's bothering you? Your participation in that? Like, what is going on here? This is what the Detroit Lions have to do. This is what Brad Holmes and the front office are paid to do. Can Jalen Carter play football at the collegiate level? Yes. Yes, he could. He was very disruptive. Very disruptive. But it is up to Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, and whomever else might be in that room to figure out, does this guy, as I like to say in other sports, you want to be a professional athlete for the lifestyle, or do you love the sport? Like, what are you really here to do? Because if you show up out of shape and sloppy and can't finish drills at the largest, most important job interview you're ever going to have, that already raises some eyebrows and should raise some questions, and rightfully so. And what if there isn't a run on quarterbacks? Like, we're just assuming that it's going to go quarterback, right? Jalen Hurts just signed his deal yesterday. And why that matters to you? 5 years, $255 million. That is a ton of money. 5 years, $255. That's like $51 million a year. It's insanity. But it's Jalen Hurts. And so everyone wants to know what happens with the next domino that might be Lamar Jackson, which also, want to remind folks, also plays a role in how this team and what this team might receive from Teddy Bridgewater, because allegedly they have a pretty lucrative deal out to Teddy B, because they have to get the backup quarterback. They have to have somebody there that can play in the event that something horrific happens in the first snap of the season. They got to have there has to be an answer, right? And they don't have that on the roster. But what if there isn't this run on quarterback? And that's probably why Teddy Bridgewater is going to wait. And it's more than likely, you know, what's going to happen with Lamar Jackson, unless he just wants to re-sign with Baltimore, who Baltimore came out and said that they offered in the neighborhood of $200 million guaranteed. Ugh, it's a lot of guaranteed money to walk away from. And whether this is Baltimore feeding out the news so that they can kind of, they're going to be able to save some face here. The organization does. Absolutely. If they say, hey, we offered in the neighborhood of $200 million guaranteed money to Lamar Jackson, and he turns it down, well, the fans can't be mad at the organization, because that's a ridiculous amount of money. Ridiculous amount of money. So we got to wait for these quarterback dominoes to fall a little bit. What if there isn't really any movement at the top of the draft? Like, then what happens? Like, what if there isn't a run on quarterback? What if it takes guys like Will Anderson off the board early? earlier, I should say. 6 is still pretty early.
I mean, I still think. I think in every scenario they'll probably trade back.
Oh, really? You're going that route? Okay.
Just the way it's. Unless they're going to take a cornerback, yes, I would say they trade back.
With the assumption that they don't, and Jalen Carter is there at 6. This is the question that we can't answer. And it might sound like a cop-out, and you can probably, pound your chest, oh, you work for the organization. You can do all that if you want. But we're not in the room for however long that meeting was. And hopefully it was multiple hours to figure out, is Jalen Carter, does this guy have potential to be in an Aaron Donald, Chris Jones conversation? Or is this Nick Fairley 2.0? Because we can't do Nick Fairley 2.0. And that is what the front office is paid to do. That is why they're paid what they're paid, because they have to get to the bottom of this. Drew Rosenhaus had said, it's going to give teams an opportunity to meet his clients, because he wasn't going to meet with anybody outside the top 10. Oh, okay. Those teams might have picks, later on. It'll be like, what if the off the field, and word travels fast. If he had a bad meeting, I guarantee you that gets out. If he had a good meeting, I'm sure they'll talk about that as well. But some news will come out from this. I'd be very shocked if mum was the word on Jalen Carter's visit with the Detroit Lions. But that's why they're paid what they're paid. And if Will Anderson's off the board and Jalen Carter's still there, and you got an opportunity to get Witherspoon, I wouldn't compare it to the Jeff Okudah, acquisition here. I mean, they're getting maybe the top corner in the draft, and that's not at all under the same set of circumstances that Bob Quinn drafted Jeff Okudah. So I think that is something that, just to keep in mind. Just file that away for draft night as we see, some things kind of come about here. Folks, want to remind you, Tullymore Golf Resort in Canadian Lakes, offering not one but 2 championship courses, Tullymore and St. Ives. Great location, smack dab in the middle of the state. It's about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. Easy to get to no matter where you are at. What you need to do is you need to log on to tullymoregolf.com, tullymoregolf.com, or call our friend Matt Golden at 1-800-972-4837, 1-800-972-4837, and book your stay and play at Tullymore today. Hour number 2 is next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
Godsmack, live and in your face. Friday, May 26th at Soaring Eagle Casino, plus Bad Wolves. And same show, same night, Bullet for My Valentine. Tickets start at $28, on sale now at the Soaring Eagle box office or etix.com. Party hard, rock harder. Godsmack, May 26th, part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! Go! No, first base! Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Huge here for all the Mr. Car Wash locations. I think there's close to 30 across the Huge Radio Network. For the one close to you, go to MrCarWash.com, and there you can join their Unlimited Wash Club. Now, this is a quick and convenient way to keep your car shining all the time. It's everything you love about getting your car washed in a simple, easy-to-use, affordable plan. As an Unlimited Wash Club member, you will enjoy all the benefits of washing as often as you like, no long-term contract, convenient monthly billing, and now you can be rest assured with a contactless visit. So go to MrCarWash.com right now, sign up for their Unlimited Wash Club Pass, and that means you can get your car washed at any Mr. Car Wash location across the Huge Radio Network or anywhere in America. And for the location close to you across the Huge Radio Network, you can also log on to MrCarWash.com.
Good morning, everyone.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
How are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here, X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Hour number 2, broadcasting live all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well, from Traverse City to the Glass City GR to the Motor City. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. You can text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000 Sports Radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176. 248-951-2176. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, at Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well. BCSN streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Added.com to that to find our website. Danny Cahalan back from Memphis at Dan in the studio. Ryan Elke had to sweat it out. Dan, you should have seen the man yesterday. Ryan?
He was flying back and forth in the chairs.
It's no longer the Collinsworth slide.
Yes.
There was one point where he had the camera still fixated on him.
Seat.
And he went wee right off the screen and then
that's
wee
great.
right back. Oh, it was fantastic.
My wife she goes, "How was work?" I was like, "I haven't moved this much in a show in years." She goes, "Are you good?" I was like, "Yeah, I just need a seatbelt."
Just need that and a towel. Just relax a little bit. xbmornings@gmail.com is the website. Find us all individually on Twitter. Danny Cahalan is at Dan in the studio. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. All right, some text messages coming in. Edmonton all the way for Ken Holland, plus he inherited 2 megastars. We've seen that before. Jeez. What is this beef between Ken Holland and Steve Yzerman and this texter? Who is this anonymous texter that's so mad at Steve Yzerman? That's what I want to know. Getting Monty Bates on the show. Let's ask him about Memphis, says one texter. I don't know if his experience is something you'd write home about. Somebody laughed at Ken Holland when he said a rebuild would take a decade. It's not only do rebuilds take time, but you must. It is without question. You have to hit on your first-round picks. They're not just first-round picks. They're stars. That's what they are. Let's talk about how the Detroit Lions. Who is this? Detroit Lions sideline reporter whose initial start with TB and Juice, who said Lions seriously quarterback at 6.
I think it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be T-box is one word, presumably.
Why not just say the person's name?
So it's TJ, I would assume.
TJ Lang?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, yes, that's who I'm presuming they're talking about, but I do not know what they are what TJ said.
I'm going to text him. Say, come explain yourself. Teddy B, LOL, can we get Rusty? Look, man, Teddy Bridgewater's not a bad quarterback to have as a backup option. That's the best backup quarterback available in the league. Like, do you feel comfortable handing the ball to David Blau, or do you feel comfortable handing the ball to Teddy Bridgewater? Like, we're talking about the backup quarterback position here. And if it's not I'm all in on the Hendon Hooker train, but he's not going to be ready to play football. He's coming off injury. He won't be ready to play. So I'm already all in on the thought that if something bad were to happen, that, the season is kaput. Hi, guys. I'm very excited. The Panthers have started the season with a win. Dan, I want to listen to the game as an archive broadcast, but I can't find any evidence WJR has it available to do that. Do you know where I can listen to the games after they have been played? Thanks. That comes from Brad. You have any idea?
They were talking about it being podcasted, so perhaps, when Nick, or the producer, gets into the office today, perhaps it'll be podcasted. It's just we haven't been home.
Right. Yeah, everybody's been on the road again. Holmes proved last year he's not trading back for okay players with high picks. He proved last year he took a shot at a potential megastar in JMO, and whether it works or not, he will continue to do that. You only win with megastars in this league. Oh boy, megastars, new word. No beef. I love Stevie. Good. I'm glad that you do. All right, what else is going on in the sports world? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
No, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
Huge news. 4 games of the Stanley Cup Playoffs last night. If you watched any of that Wild Stars game, it was a wild one in double overtime. Wild win 3-2. The hit on Pavelski was clean. It's a clean hit. Dumba hit him. I mean, it's skating backwards. What do we like? They called the penalty because the guy got hurt. That's why. Because Joe Pavelski hit his head on the ice. That's why they called the penalty. He got absolutely rocked. Like that's a hit. That's full contact sports. That's what it looks like. When did we just? When is everything just like some sort of criminal offense every time somebody gets their hands put on them?
So it's funny. When I was at the MSU spring game Saturday, I was walking around. There was a guy walking the concourse. His shirt just said "Make hockey violent again."
Yeah, it's a full speed. It's the hockey, especially at the NHL level, is the most ridiculous sport in theory that you could come up with.
Just don't board people's head into the boards.
That's all we ask.
That's really it.
If you could see their numbers and they're against the wall, you can't hit them.
Yeah, just don't try to break people's necks. Is really what the goal of hockey is.
And I get real perturbed when guys are in front of the net and they're just getting chopped in the lower back with sticks. Like it's a cross check by rule. Call it.
Right.
Like
I'm also tired of the fake hockey fights where they just sit there and grab the collar and then just shake the collar for 30 seconds before throwing one half-ass punch and then getting broken up.
Wow.
They're fake fights. They're just as bad as NBA fights.
Whoa. A little aggressive there this morning.
Well,
Ryan. Hey,
if you're not going to fight, then don't play around with it.
Well, that's the thing. In the Stars Wild game, they all went to Joe Pavelski's rescue. Like the guy got hit. He hit
Actually,
his head on
the
ice.
first guy that skated by it just kept skating around the goal. That's
I
all
would
they
too. Like, damn.
It was
look
just
at
like,
that.
oh, okay, and then they all came in.
Yeah. Now there's fists flying. Refs are in the way. They're trying to break it up. It's like, dude, let it. Come on here. Carolina beats the Islanders 2-1, taking a 1-0 series lead. Boston 3-1 winners over the Florida Panthers. They never lose, especially at home. Minnesota in double overtime, as I mentioned, 3-2 over Dallas. And then the heartbreaker, my Edmonton Oilers last night at home against the Kings lose 4-3. Are you kidding me? Had a goal called back in overtime. Nuts. All right, that's on the NHL side of things. Let's get over now to the NFL side of things. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts has agreed to a $255 million deal, making him the highest-paid quarterback in the league. In 2018, remember, he was benched in the national championship game for Tua Tagovailoa. Look at him now. Had to transfer schools, start somewhere else, got drafted, and boom. Leading the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. I'm happy for Jalen Hurts. I'm glad it all worked out well. Seems like a very nice young man. Josh Harris, the Josh Harris Group submits the Commanders' bid to the NFL. They're going to try to buy this. Harris Group includes billionaire Mitchell Br0's, the NBA Hall of Famer Magic Johnson. They have reached an agreement in principle with the Commandos, Dan and Tanya Snyder, to buy the team for $6 billion. It's a lot of cheddar. Patrick Mahomes said his ankle's not 100%, but he should be ready to go by Chiefs camp. Draymond Green ejected last night after he tried to stomp out Domantas Sabonis. You can watch the video on the internet and let me know what you think about that. But if you think
Sabonis
that's
is a
unintentional,
soccer
if you think that's
player
unintentional,
cries.
typical Draymond, I don't know how you guys continue to defend the guy, run around kicking people in the nuts, and guess what? Cost him
He
another
moved it
playoff
up.
game.
He went to the chest. That's
went to the
growth.
chest.
That's growth.
That's
all
growth.
right.
I think he's got a growth on the side of his brain. Philadelphia, they won last night, take a 2-0 series lead, 96-84. Sacramento beat Golden State again. Golden State can't win on the road. This is a problem. 114-106. The Sacramento Kings win in what was arguably the most hectic, frantic, chaotic, fun, bad game I have ever watched. And how about the Grizzlies? Ja Morant We still don't know what his status is. He messed up his trigger finger when he fell down on the floor. But Jaren Jackson Jr. won Defensive Player of the Year. So congratulations to him. I believe he is the youngest to do so. So wonderful news for him. And ex-Notre Dame coach Mike Br0's is going to join the Atlanta Hawks coaching staff. That's kind of a surprise move there. We'll step aside. We're back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go. James. No, first base. Go, run.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street, you're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Have you ever played golf at Tullymore, St. Ives? Have you experienced a stay-and-play package in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids? Well, here's what you need to do if you want to take advantage of great deals right now. Go to TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com, and you'll see the link for packages, accommodations, dining, meetings, weddings, events, and so much more, and especially golf on the 18-hole layout at Tullymore and the 18 holes at St. Ives. And they can accommodate any group, whether it's 2 people getting together or 200 looking for a weekend or an overnight celebration. That includes a little business, golf, great food, and beverages. Just go to TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com. They're located in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of GR. Get more info at TullymoreGolf.com.
We might have just come out with our most refreshing Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer yet. It's called the Essential Collection. It's made with coconut water and real fruit juice, so it's always going to have a real refreshing fruit taste. Can refreshing get any more refreshing? Yep, it can, and it just did. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, made with coconut water and real fruit juice for a superior taste. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
pa' dónde vamos después de la playa. Si no secamos, yo traigo la toalla y de nuevo no. Pero en mi cama te voy a dar tabla de selfie, yeah. Dime pa' dónde vamos después de la playa. Si no secamos, yo traigo la toalla y de nuevo. Pero en mi cama te voy a dar tabla de selfie, bebé. Zumba.
Oh, man, just got a great text message. The pride of Patias is listening to us right now. Right now on the Roar in Detroit, 93.5 and 99.1. So great to have you with us. Mr. Jan is listening. He's driving into work. He's ready to get the Motor City up and going. He's ready to ship you all the sneakers you can find there at StockX. Ho! Hey, doesn't this make you want to just bounce around a little bit? Are you guys partying over there in the studio or what? Huh?
The only time I've met him, you weren't even present. How sad.
Well, no, Dan, you were supposed to meet Anthony and
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. Get him.
You just send a Snapchat of like, hey, I ran into Gian, a person I've never seen before, outside of him complaining about subscriptions. I didn't know if I had to subscribe to such premium content on Dan's Snapchat.
Yeah, I didn't know we had to subscribe to get Dan to come to our own tailgate. We throw a tailgate. We got hundreds of people there, former Michigan State football players there, Michigan fans. Ryan's in the...
Me in a Michigan State jersey just taking abuse from everyone.
I mean, we all got together like a big family, and Dan's like, I'm on the golf course. I'm not going to make it. Shep's calling me. Shep's like, I'm up in the premium super-duper president suite.
I actually did see Dan that day. I walked by him as he was going to the golf course. And
did he even wave to you, or did he just...
Yeah, no, we stopped and talked for a minute.
Oh, yeah. I thought he would have big-timed you like he did me. I thought that's what it was.
You just didn't show up to your friend's tailgate, Anthony. I don't know what to tell you.
How am I going to do that when we're hosting one? How are we going to do that?
Well, we were supposed to walk over there, but Gian and I and all our friends had too much fun.
Well, that's good. I'm just glad the fact that you guys ran into each other and knew who was who. I think is fantastic. That's the power of radio. Speaking of the power of radio, USDA Scott is on hold. Scott's going to flip out when I tell him we got Porterhouse and T-Bones on sale right now, Scott. Porterhouse $10.95, T-Bones $9.95. I cracked open the short line and said, oh, my God, are these prime or what? You should have seen the marbling on these things. Good morning to you, Scott. How are you, my friend?
Good, bud. Yeah, short lines were cheap the last 2 weeks, so good for you guys passing on the savings.
Yeah, hey, that's what we do. We're not here to make money. We're here to make friends. Danny Vu at Danny's Fine Food. I mean, that guy, he should run for mayor. He's here for the people, Scott. That's what he's here for the people.
Oh, buddy. Quickly on the Lions, I think Dan's hit on something that is the big rumor. I think unless that, and I can't think of his last name unless the Will kid, unless he's available.
Will Anderson?
Yeah, I think all options are on the table. I think Holmes is ready to package up and maybe try to get even 2 picks for next year in the first round instead of right now because I think they want that kid so bad to go alongside Hutch and I think they'd trade up to get him if they could get him, if they knew they could get him at 5 or 6 or 4 or 5. But I don't know if he's even going to be available past 2. So we'll see what happens. But I really do think that if they can't get him, then they're not worried about the 6th pick because I think they're satisfied with possibly that kid from Texas Tech. And most mock drafts have him going somewhere between 10 and 15. So
well, I hope that if they do trade back, they do get something similar to what the Dolphins and Eagles exchanged a couple of years ago, where they were able to swap spots. The Eagles moved back, the Dolphins moved up. The Eagles threw in a 5th-round pick as they moved, or a 4th-round pick. The Dolphins threw in, I think, a 5th-rounder after the swap and a 1st-rounder in the following year. That worked out really well for the Philadelphia Eagles. So if they're going to trade back, I'd like to see, especially if it's in the 1st round and they're only moving back a couple spots and maybe there's a run on quarterbacks or a run at a specific position where somebody wants to move up and they feel desperate to get a guy. I hope that's the situation that it looks like where, yeah, we're comfortable moving back 4, 5, 6 spots in the draft, maybe even more. But that's got to come with some compensation from next year as well.
And you trust Holmes to make that choice, correct?
Absolutely, I trust. I mean,
there
look,
we go. There we go. That's why,
I mean,
that's why I don't even think about it. But anyway, you guys
is
were
that
talking
weird?
a little bit about Dan, huh?
Is that weird? Is that strange to feel that way? To feel like I know that we just with Lions fans that come across every day.
When have we had a GM? When have we had a GM with any of our franchises that we've had that? Well, I guess maybe. Oh gosh, what's his name for the Tigers through those years?
Br0's?
Dombrowski, yeah. I mean that was one. I mean he still did some goofy things, but I mean you were like, I don't know that I can question him.
Well, you trust Stevie Y, right?
I am. I'm giving him as much leeway as I can.
Okay.
He's got a lot. He's got lots of rope with me. But anyway, and then I want to talk about something Danny was saying. About Memphis. And I won't say the company, but I had big time national job with a food organization for many years, and I traveled all the time. I used to love going to Philadelphia. You just didn't go to East Philly. I used to love going to Chicago. You just didn't go to the South Side. You didn't stop for gas over there. In Detroit, you didn't go to Cass Corridor and pick up a snack. But now, and I got out of it 8 years ago, traveling. But 15 years ago, there were pockets. Like Dan was saying, there were pockets in all these cities. Now, I mean, almost made me cry when the Magnificent Mile. What I saw had that happen Saturday night. That was Michigan and State Street. I mean that that used to be one of the most gorgeous places. Everybody shopped there, and now they're pulling people out of cars. I don't know what's going to happen, brother. I just don't.
Yeah, scary times indeed. Scott, man, we appreciate the call this morning. Thank you. Next, Jared Goff extension, 5 years, $270 million, $185 guaranteed. No. No. Look, I love Jared. It could only be Jared. Love Jared. I don't foresee that happening. It's hour 2 at segment 2, which means it's time for Little Detroit Lions Trivia. I hate
you
this
trying
trivia.
to flip it around?
It's just, what player holds the Lions single season record entering 2021 of 17 touchdowns? So
Barry Sanders? That's great that it got broken.
Mikel LaShore.
Well, takes care of that problem for today.
Avion Kason.
Wow.
He holds the record for
Artus
Pinner.
Big Joy.
Andre Fluellen. Those are just the guys that would get cut and re-signed every 2 weeks.
Hey, yeah, roster management, right? It's all part of it. There is a question surrounding the Detroit Lions that I don't know how well prepared we are for that question. I'll ask it at some point because it's coming up. Next up, though, we're going to get into the biggest concern and priority to hit on in the upcoming draft. But first, want to remind you folks that although it's we've got a little suspect weather this week. Last week was great, and better weather is right around the corner, which means it's time to break out the sticks and head on over to Tullymore Golf Resort and Canadian Lakes, offering not one but 2 championship courses, Tullymore and St. Ives. Play them both. Just don't play them both in the same day unless you're a psychopath like myself, and then we'll play all 36. It's located about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. It not only features top-line golf, folks, but Tullymore also features top-line accommodations and the perfect space for a wedding event, reception, or group outing. Visit TullymoreGolf.com, TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837. 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. We're back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! No, first base! Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street, you're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Share your thoughts all morning long on the Meyer Guest Line. Call 248-951-2176. That's 248-951-2176. Now, back to Danny, Ryan, and AB.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. So great to have you riding along with us, no matter who you or how you may be listening. Plenty to get into here in this segment. Want to remind you folks that in case you live under a rock, it is NBA playoff time, and you get in on all the action with the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the association. Get on the excitement with every game with the touch of a button. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet and get $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. Plus, everyone can score a no-sweat same-game parlay every day during the NBA playoffs. Open up the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, place a same-game parlay on any NBA game, and if it doesn't hit, don't worry, you'll get a bonus bet that is back up to $10. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. Promo code HUGE. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet, score $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. Only at DraftKings, only using the promo code HUGE. Now, if you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline at 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Opt-in is required. One bonus bet issued based on the amount of the initial losing NBA bet. Eligibility, wagering, deposit restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. That wasn't bad. That was all right.
That was very well done.
Disclaimers there, sometimes they get me because you want to go fast. You want to make it sound like it's on the, on the radio. You got to go real fast. But then sometimes you talk too fast, then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, that was probably a little much. All right, so I do have this question that I brought up to one of our delivery drivers yesterday. He was talking about he's like, Lions fans downriver are different. I said, really? He said, oh, yeah. I said, well, why do you say that? He's like, because, he's like, the Lions fan downriver's got a tattoo of the Lions on him. I started laughing. I said, well, I mean, that's a fan. They love their football team. And I asked him this. I said, here's the question that you need to be, and everybody needs to be aware of. Because when they are, 3-13, when they are 9-8, and they make that jump, right? 3-13, we're in the doldrums, and we're just trying to scrape out, like, please don't go 0-16 again. Dan Campbell's first year, whatever. They battle back, touchdown, Amon-Ra St. Brown. They did it. Dan Miller, great call. And then they go into last season with Aiden Hutchinson and company, and they have this. I would say it's a great year. That's a great year. I mean, 9-8, hell, they haven't been that relevant in a very long time. They have the hard knocks, so they take over this sort of like darling role, if you will, of the NFL on a national media landscape, right? People are now discussing the Detroit Lions. And that's pretty cool, right? It's nice to see guys that are on your television, that are on your radio, that aren't local, discussing the Detroit Lions. And I saw a tweet that came out from, who was it? From, I don't know, NFL.com maybe, the ranking GMs. And Brad Holmes was ranked 7th on a list. And it's an arbitrary list put together by one person, like whatever. But to even be getting that sort of recognition nationally is a monstrous step for this organization. My question to you, the fans, is this. Are you prepared and are you ready for the next step? Because it's one thing to be 3-13 and be like, oh, well, there's always next year. And you get excited for the draft. It's like, oh, next year, right? And then you make that step to 9-8. After a dismal start to the season, the people were calling us. They wanted everybody fired, cut everybody, right? And they flip things around. They go 8-2. Probably could have went 9-1 or 10-0 in those final 10 games. But it's the NFL. Like, everybody's a professional. You're bound to lose one eventually. So are you, as a Lions fan, ready for the expectation that is going to come with this team now? That's what I want to know. I want to know. I see a spider on the wall in the studio. Huh. Interesting. That spider's probably going to get a chancla here pretty soon. Are you ready to take that next step? And I'll ask each one of you first. Dan, Ryan? As a Lions fan, are you prepared that the expectation is, oh, God, I hope we're good? Because there's something about being stuck in mediocrity that you want to take the next step, but really, are you ready for that?
No. I mean, that's how it is every year for the Lions, seemingly for the last, well, I wouldn't know, probably like 8 out of the last 10 years. It's like they finished the season strong on this high note, and you are expecting the team to go from mediocre to maybe that just above mediocre. I'm trying to think of a team that I would put them with this year. I'm not sure.
Like the Eagles last year.
Right.
Yes. Eagles going into last year were the hottest team to be picked in because they ended things good. They had Jalen Hurts coming in or, came on as the starter. And so it was, hey, the Eagles need to now be that team. And they pretty much lived up to what their fans' expectations were.
The expectation this year, and this is going to sound scary to say out loud on April 18th, a week and a couple days away from the draft, is to win the NFC North. Like, that's it. And for as much chatter as we heard about how bad this team was and about the coaching staff and this, that, and the third, do you realize, I mean, obviously you know that every team plays 6 divisional games a year. This team was 5-1 in the division. 5-1. Like, if Minnesota, I mean, at 9-8, folks, you're right there. You are right there. Because 9-8 was Seattle. They made the playoffs. Probably shouldn't, terrible call. But whatever. That was then, this is now. You're 5-1 in the division. You should be the favorite going into this season because when you look back at Minnesota, there's no way Minnesota's going to be winning that many one-possession games. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. But, hey, they had a year like that. They've had some roster turnover, especially on the defensive side. Green Bay, we don't even know what they have at quarterback.
Like, let's put it, the Lions, they are so historically bad to start seasons. Like, I mean, we all remember the 6-2 start, and they ended the season 7-9.
Oh.
That 6-2 start, it felt like it felt like our 35-5 start for the Tigers. That 6-2 start that seemed like something that was impossible at the time for the Lions. Can you win 3 out of your first 5 games? That's the start you need to. You cannot go into the second quarter of this season with the losing record, because that's every year they put themselves in a hole. You can't do it.
Yeah, and it's last year we walked in and we were like, oh, well, the schedule's favorable. It turned out that everybody we played makes the playoffs. You know what I mean? And I always go back to the Jacksonville game because that was a game in which I think that the fan base might have had their first dose of reality in what was actually taking place here. Because that was a 40-14 blowout. I mean, they were just handling Jacksonville. All this talk about Trevor Lawrence. Oh, my God. And good for them. Like, good for the Jags. They'll always have a special place in my heart, because of my employment there. So I will always secretly root for the Jags unless they're playing the Detroit Lions. It was interesting because as a kid, teal uniforms, Mark Brunell, kind of a cool logo, expansion team, kind of fun. Big Fred, Mark Brunell, they had some good players. Baselli on the line. And then you think about like how that all transitions and where we go, from there and how we end up here. And so I'll always root for the Jaguars unless they're playing, of course, the real big cats, the Detroit Lions. And the Lions, I mean, outside of the third quarter, they got outscored 8-7. Outside of that, dominated the entire football game. And I'll go back to that because Ford Field did not know how to act. They didn't know what to do. Like, we beat Jacksonville to a bloody pulp. And none of the fans really even necessarily engaged in a majority of that football game because they didn't know, like, when does the bottom fall out? Right? Because that's how you are conditioned to believe that heartbreak and failure is around every single turn. We've seen it too many times. Right? And so when you get a game like that should have been one of those that instills this mindset of, hey, like, this team, they can actually do this. But are you as a fan ready to take that next step to believe that this team is going to win the division in 2023? Is Bill in Knoxville still on hold?
Yeah, hold on one sec.
Yeah, okay, I can do that. Congratulations.
I'll put him on air.
All right. Bill, good morning to you, my friend. How are you, partner?
Good morning, Anthony. How are you, my good friend?
Fantastic, partner. All is well.
Well, that's great. I've been hearing nothing but nothing but a layer cake of rumors involving my Titans. Are they going to trade up? Are they going to trade down?
I don't know much about what Tennessee and the hell is, what they're doing here. I don't know much, but I can tell you this: if they go and make the same mistake twice, Bill, you might as well give up on that general manager.
I'll tell you one thing, Rand Carthon, don't use your head for something besides a hat rack. Stay at 11.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or if you're going to trade down instead of up. We don't want. You could get extra draft choices that way. Another rumor. I've been hearing the rumor that maybe the Derrick Henry may be heading to the Dallas Cowboys in a trade. I'll believe that when I see it, Anthony Bellino.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw the Cowboys are interested in Derrick Henry. Of course they are. He's a great name, and that's what they wanted Ezekiel Elliott to be. They've got Pollard playing on the free agent tag, so what does a trade look like there for them? The Dolphins might be interested in Derrick Henry as well. I don't know of a team that wouldn't be interested in him, but what is it going to take to be able to get, because this, if and when they trade Derrick Henry, this is the management and front office realizing that they have maybe another year after this before everybody gets fired. And so you've already traded A.J. Brown. That would seem to be like the demoralization of your organization. And if you trade Derrick Henry and don't get an absolute king's ransom to stack the war chest of draft picks, like you are, and I don't know of a team that's going to be willing to part with that much for a running back. I know that Derrick Henry is special. There's not a team in the NFL that wouldn't start him right now, but at what cost? And with his performance and how good he is, I think that drives up the asking price too much. Only a team with a psychopath owner like Jerry Jones, the Dallas Cowboys, I think would make that sort of move. I do not feel that the Dolphins would make that move because the Dolphins had Lamar Jackson. And you know what their head coach said? I'm going to ride it out with Tua. I'm going to stay with him. But they had the meeting. Lamar was in South Florida. They did the wine and dine. And management was ready to pull the trigger there and make him the offer. And Mike McDonald shot that down and said, "You know what? No, let's ride with Tua." So I don't know if McDonald would allow the Dolphins front office to jump off that cliff.
Anthony, another team that I forgot that's also interested in Derrick Henry, the Atlanta Falcons. Of course, look, The main reason why that is because of Arthur Smith, because Arthur Smith at one time used to be the offensive coordinator for the Titans before he was the head coach of the Falcons.
Yeah, they definitely need a true number one. There's no doubting that. They have decent wide receivers. Drake London, Scotty Miller, Kadarius Hodge. They do have good tight end in Kyle Pitts. Question is if they're going to find out now, is Desmond Ridder the guy? And would it help to have a guy like Derrick Henry back there? Yes. They added Calais Campbell this offseason. They've been getting a little busy. You know, the Falcons, they bring over Jeff Okudah from Detroit, so they're trying to figure some things out on the defensive end. And if you're the Atlanta Falcons and you add Derrick Henry, if Desmond Ridder is an average NFL quarterback, if he is middle of the pack statistically in every category, you got a really good chance of winning that division. Like
you think that the AFC South is weak. The NFC South is just as weak as the AFC South.
Well, I don't know. Colts don't have a quarterback. Houston is dismal. Jacksonville made the playoffs at 9-8, and the Tennessee Titans are imploding. Whereas Falcons have gotten a little bit better, but have a huge question at quarterback. And don't forget, Derek Carr went to the New Orleans Saints. So although the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will probably take a step back with some of their losses this offseason, and the Carolina Panthers, we're not really sure what they're doing, I still think that New Orleans with Derek Carr is still the best team out of the 8 teams in both South divisions, and the Atlanta Falcons would be a good number 2 team, just as a question mark to see what they can do. Whereas in the South, you have Jacksonville, who, you know, once again, the Lions record made the playoffs, just happened to play in the right division.
The bottom line there is, Anthony, Jacksonville just kicked the Titans' teeth in while they were down. No ifs, ands, and buts about it.
There's no doubt there. Bill in Knoxville, we appreciate the call. Thank you. Good luck. I hope that if they do trade Derek, they get the value. I just don't know if that happens.
Well, we'll see.
Cross your fingers.
Cross my fingers.
Pray to the Titans or whatever they pray to down there. We've got Freddie is on hold right now. Freddie, what do you want to do? We're up against it, so you want to come back top of the hour? You want to go right now?
No, I'll wait, but I do want to make fun of you before you go to break. Can I make fun of you real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Were you making fun of the Jacksonville quarterback, the guy that just won a playoff game where they were losing 28-3 at halftime? Is
Trevor
that the guy
Lawrence?
you were making fun of?
Who made fun of Trevor Lawrence?
You said, everybody was talking about Trevor Lawrence. Would you rather have Trevor Lawrence or Jared Goff right now?
I'd rather have the Lions because we beat them. Straight up.
Talking about a guy that works for a team, what a great...
How can you look at the scoreboard and tell me you'd not rather be a Lions fan? We'll be back with more X's and Bros to deal with this next here on the Michigan Sports Network.
In the den. Hey, sports fans, here's a hanging curveball that you can knock out of the ballpark. This is Matt Shepard, the voice of Detroit baseball, inviting you to step up to the plate at Eagle Casino and Sports, the mobile sports book where you can bet on all your favorites all year round, including, of course, our national pastime. So download the app and start winning today. Eagle Casino and Sports, made in Michigan, made for Michigan. Must be 21 years or older and in Michigan to play. We are one game deep into this 3-game series with Cleveland and one of 13 against the division rival. In other words, a long way to go, but it serves as a reminder of how important these division games truly are. Last year, Detroit closed 34-42 against the AL Central. The Guardians, on the other hand, used a 47-29 divisional mark to run away with the title. It's important to note every divisional winner in baseball last year, except Atlanta, owned the best record within its own division. In 2021, every division winner carded the best divisional record. The Tigers have lost the season series in each of the last 7 years to Cleveland. Things have to change, and it can start right now.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! Go! No, first base! Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street, you're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. Spin the money wheel and win up to $100,000 cash. Every Saturday in April from 5 to 11 p.m. One winner each hour will spin for the win and take home up to $100 grand. Whirl in for $100,000 money wheel. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
We might have just come out with our most refreshing Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer yet. It's called the Essential Collection. It's made with coconut water and real fruit juice, so it's always going to have a real refreshing fruit taste. Can refreshing get any more refreshing? Yep, it can, and it just did. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, made with coconut water and real fruit juice for superior taste. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTap at FreddyThePizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email FreddyThePizzaman@gmail.com.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny in the corner. To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Kenny Walker. Touchdown. Spotty.
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up. Yes. Caught. Touchdown. Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end. Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here. X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us. No matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well, from Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. Text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000 Sports Radio to 2100. Or hit us up on the Myers Supercenter guest line, 248-951-2176, 248-951-2176. That's where we find Freddie. Freddie, welcome back. How the hell are you?
Can I give you a little time to think about your little take that you had there?
40 to 14. 40 to 14. Anything else? What else you want? 40 to 14. Wasn't even close. One guy went for 179 and a touchdown. The other went for 340 and 2 scores.
Yeah. Well,
men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
Your executive producer there, Ryan, I want to know that score at halftime between the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the LA Chargers. What that score was at halftime? Who's the guy that brought it back? I forgot. I thought the score was 28.
Oh, I thought the score was 23-6 at halftime, and the Lions were thunder punching the Jaguars all the way back to North Florida.
Absolutely, they were. What a great game that was, and what a great time for the Lions. Now, I'm glad you brought up this topic. I'm really glad because.
By the way,
27-7. Thank you, Ryan.
There you go. I knew Ryan would get it. Now, I'm really glad you brought up this topic. Now, we know for sure, with 10 days left with the draft, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are sitting in their office literally probably 22 hours a day having this exact topic. Because you don't just talk about players. You got to talk about this year. You got to talk about next year. You got to talk about 2025. You do that every year. A good GM, that's what they do. You don't focus just on this year. You focus on the next 2 or 3 years when it comes to the draft. So they're probably having this conversation. Now, I do want to piggyback on something Dan said. Dan was correct. Every year they're notorious for starting off slow. And if you started off 1-6, this program will have draft shows. They will have guys on talking about the draft at 1-6. So let's not start off slow because I don't want to have draft talk in October. Now, again, this is a great topic. Now, the Lions, what really concerns me this year, and I'm saying this in the bottom of my heart, it really concerns me that everybody and their mother in this whole world is picking the Lions to win a playoff game this year. I don't like that. Now, I think this past Super Bowl is I forgot what network it was on, but they all picked Philly to win the Super Bowl, right? Every one of them picked Philly, and then Kansas City won the game, and then of course, the jabroni Joe came out, and what's his face, and you all picked Philly. Look at this, I don't like when everybody is picking the Detroit Lions because here's my issue with Detroit Lions. I want to see them win just as much as everybody. I mean, I've suffered enough with them, okay? Now, what the Lions did, when Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are sitting here talking about the draft the next 10 days, they've got to realize This team needs to learn how to win with a target on their back. Now, they tried that last year and it didn't work. They blew the game in Minnesota. They blew the Buffalo game. They blew the Carolina game. They blew the Dallas game. They blew the New England game. These are games they needed to win that are important games that teach you how to win. They failed all those tests last year, but they ended up going 9-8, which is really good. They ended up season, the offense was really good, the defense was really bad, and then the defense started playing good. This year could be the opposite. So I believe what goes up comes down. What goes down goes up. That's just life. That's in sports. That's in everything. The Lions need to learn how to win those important games, and this is the year that it starts. Now, I'm going to be totally honest with you on April 18th. Okay. And you could bookmark this. It's fine with me. I don't care because I believe in my opinions. I think the Lions are a year away. I still think they're a year away. Meaning,
Year away from what?
really doing some damage in the playoffs.
Oh, we got to get there. See, okay. All right. So I get that, and I understand that. And I think that the one thing you bring up, the target on your back, is very interesting because I don't know if we're ready and prepared to handle the conversation that is now gaining steam that I think that people need to be aware of. And that's why I brought it up, and I've talked about it the last couple of days, is because Lions fans need to start processing this. They need to start to understand that this isn't like the lovable. It's one thing because there's almost comfort in mediocrity because then they can't hurt you, right?
Yep.
And at the end of the day, when your expectation is very high, if you think she's the one and then for whatever reason she's running around with Freddie the Pizza Man, all of a sudden your heart breaks. But if she's not the one, then it doesn't really matter. It's on to the next, right? We're at the point now where we think this is the one. We're ready to get down on one knee. This is where it hurts. This is where it stings. And are Lions fans prepared for the expectation that is now on this club, not only from internally in the building, which I like that, here in this state and for the Lions fandom, no matter where they're at, but also league-wide. And that is what makes you raise your eyebrows a little bit.
Well, I think you're going to start seeing in 10 days when Campbell starts getting on the podium more, you start seeing him. I think that's going to be a common theme with him. You're going to watch through the OTAs and preseason. He's going to say, listen, it's time for us to learn how to win. I think you're going to see that a lot this year. And what concerns me is there's a lot of young guys. Without Michael Br0's in that locker room, a veteran that really just said, listen, when I was on vacation a couple weeks ago, he was on that Good Morning America show. He was on the show, and they asked him, and he said the number one goal for the Lions is don't get comfortable with where you're at. You need to take that next level. He said it. Michael Br0's. Now, if you remember Michael Br0's, when he was traded here before Jared Goff. Yeah, if you guys remember, he took a shot at Jared Goff. Jared Goff was still in L.A. He took a shot at him.
I remember that.
Yes, and a week later, Jared Goff came here, and you never heard anything about it. So to end my little rant here, I think they're a year away. I'm going to be happy with whatever they do this year because I think there's too many young guys. That sophomore jinx is real. It happened to the Red Wings this year. I can see it happening to the Lions. I'm not going to be upset, but I will be upset. I will be upset, and I'm going to say this. If the Lions don't take a quarterback early in this draft, because they got to get ready for 2024 and beyond, because Jared Goff is just not that guy that's going to take you to the next level. He's going to be good enough. He's not going to take you to the next level. Now, that's where I think the Lions and Brad Holmes, they need to have – this is a conversation they need to be having the next 10 days. Are we truly there? Are we a year away? They have to be real with themselves. I'm a fan. That's how I feel. Mm-hmm. And I just think if it ends up happening, they go 9-8 again and lose a playoff game, this town is going to revolt on Jared Goff, and you're not going to have a backup plan. And I'm afraid of that. And I think Brad Holmes knows this, and he's going to take care of this problem. And I'm looking forward to next week. That's all I got to say. And I'm glad you brought this up because I think Lions fans got to be really concerned that this team needs to learn how to win. So, anyways, have a great day and stay warm. No golf today.
No golf today. No golf. Lots of golf, but no golf. I got something on the heels of what Freddie said. Plus, another incident in the playoffs with a one Draymond Green and maybe the best, most exciting, hectic, chaotic, bad game I've ever seen. Plus, Stanley Cup started up, and boy, it was off to a hot start last night. All that and more coming up next year, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! Go! No, first base! Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street, you're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. Spin the money wheel and win up to $100,000 cash. Every Saturday in April from 5 to 11 p.m. One winner each hour will spin for the win and take home up to $100 grand. Whirl in for $100,000 money wheel. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
From planting a simple seed to managing a global food supply, growing, processing, and distributing food is the backbone of America. You deal with food safety and labor issues, cost control, and not to mention Mother Nature. But do you have time to explore research development and biotechnical tax credits? Properly administer payroll for temporary employees. Ensure that you're operating at your most profitable? That's where we come in. We're Bean Garter. And while your business is America's food supply, our business is helping you run your business better. We'll assist with tax credits, assess your processes and controls, and so much more. And while we may not be able to help you plant your crops, we can help you realize a rich financial harvest. From the family farm to worldwide distribution of all the things you grow, grow your business better. Experience service, expertise, and simplicity at Bean Garter. Find us online, BeanGarter.com. Bean Garter.
City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City. You're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you ride along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio on the Michigan Sports Network. All our great radio affiliates, all of our partners across the state, we say good morning to. We thank you, appreciate you, encourage you to call the show, text the show, use the keyword sports radio, send it to 21,000, and send us any of your thoughts regarding any of our topics or topics you may have of your own. Meyer Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176, 248-951-2176. Allowing Bill in Knoxville to call in and turn a Lions segment into a Titans segment is sheer radio brilliance. Way to know your Michigan audience, fellas. Great job. Then to top it off, bring on Freddie for consecutive segments so he can misinterpret Anthony's comments about Trevor Lawrence in classic Freddie fashion. Genius. Will in Comstock Park. Will, Mr. William, I have a question for you, sir. Are you angry with me? Trust me, I get it. I understand. I went with the topic in hour 2 and segment 3 that I was going with. And Bill was sitting on hold. Everybody's welcome. It's not necessarily just it is a Titans comment. You know, he listens to us in Knoxville. God bless him. Love that guy. Thank you to all of our Tennessee listeners. But Derrick Henry moving locations is newsworthy, is noteworthy. And we could parlay that into some broader general NFL as well. So that's why I do my best to try to take that and mold it and then package, deliver it, going in a different direction.
And for the record, Bill is a Michigander. He was born and raised in Southeast Michigan.
In the county of Dade.
That's right.
Like Rick Ross. That Packers game at the end of the season was the most important game of the season, and they won. They are learning to win those games. I don't know who that comes from. But I'll tell you this much. My biggest quarrel with, there is no such thing in the National Football League as a meaningless game. There is no such thing in collegiate football or in high school football that is a meaningless game. In your Pop Warner League, there are no meaningless games. And the reason for that is the urgency that football has. And you've seen it right now in the NBA playoffs. The urgency. The urgency makes that game that product a whole hell of a lot better. There are no meaningless games in the NFL. Week 1 is just as important as week 18. The only meaningless week is your bye week. And even that's not meaningless because your guys got to get some time to rest. And depending on where that bye week was scheduled, it could help you, it could hurt you. But beating the New York Jets on the road like they stole something, 20-17. Late, white-knuckled, squeezing the steering wheel, listening to Dan Miller on the call. I'm nervous. We're giving up bombs at the late portions of the game. Beating the Giants, what I meant, like they stole something. Escaping the Jets, 2 road wins, huge. Going on the road against the Bears, beating them at Soldier Field. The Jaguars at home, they were a playoff team. The Vikings at home, they were a playoff team. Did they have a bad outing against Carolina? Yeah, the defense was atrocious. Offense didn't do much early in that game. That game meant something. All of these games mean something because you only get so many opportunities. So they all mean something. There are no meaningless games in the NFL. Downriver Bill. I like that. Downriver Bill. Dan called me Downriver the other day. Went out to Easter brunch. And Dan said, "Oh, you guys are downriver." What'd you say? Some snide remark you made about me being from. And I said, "We're south of Downriver. Downriver, you got to get like Trenton, Wyandotte. You got to be in that area. Grosse Ile, kind of downriver. It's a little different.
See,
Grosse Ile.
Yeah, the downriver that people think is Taylor and Melvindale and Lincoln Park, a little bit of Allen Park. Yeah, you are downriver, Anthony, but yeah, you're a little too far. Monroe's too far.
Yeah, Southgate.
Yeah, I would say Trenton, Southgate. That's about. I think Brownstown. Downriver for sure.
Gibraltar.
Because
I think Gibraltar.
Rockwood is the cutoff. I would put it at that.
Okay, so that's interesting that you say that, because I was going to go with Gibraltar Road, because Gibraltar Road cuts straight across Flat Rock and Gibraltar. I think everything north of Gibraltar Road is downriver. Everything south of it, that's just Monroe. You know, that just is what it is. But yeah, you know, that's it. I'm glad we got that.
I didn't say you were. Did I call you down? Where did you go for Easter? I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did. We went to Dearborn. You're like, oh, you downriver
TPC.
Oh, blah, 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 blah. And then afterwards, I went over the facility. My mom was the best. We're driving up there, and she's like, "Oh my God, where's the Lions?" I said, "The Lions facility's right there." "How do you know?" I said, "It says Lions on the fence."
I guess
she's like, "Oh my God."
The way you misrepresent your sweet mother.
Look at that fence. It says Lions. That's their building. I'm like, "Mom, that's their building. Look at that building." I said, "There's a football field in there." "In that building?" "Look at it." I said, "I've been there. That's where we do training camp." "You got it all the way here for training camp." I'm like, "Yeah, this is ridiculous." Oh man. All right. So we're gonna get into this too. I'm seeing a whole lot of defense by a lot of Michigan State media folks. My good buddy Graham Couch, my friend Graham Couch, is out here unsheathing the sword, telling his Lansing soldiers to build the shield wall to protect Draymond Green. For what? Dude, this is him.
For having his ankle grabbed second time by Sabonis this year.
God.
Oh, you think it just started with Graham Couch?
Oh.
You forgot who's over here.
Yeah.
Hey.
Graham Couch said shield wall, and Ryan was right at the front. Shield at the ready, spear over the top.
I didn't need to see the play or Graham's tweet to know what I needed to do today. I just had to look at the rundown. I just had to hear, NBA, and I was like, Draymond did something last night. It's like a bat signal for Spartan fans.
It is. It is.
Where's his foot supposed to go, Anthony?
Not in the chest of Domantas Sabonis.
He shouldn't have been laying there.
Here come the Spartans out of the woodwork to defend their chosen son, Draymond Green. That's what it sounds like in the back of my mind. The minute he does something, I'm like, oh, God. The same guy running around kicking Steven Adams in the nuts. The same guy you want to defend. The guy that got booted out of the series against the Cavs and opened up the door for them to win the championship. Everybody seems to forget that. It's because LeBron's like, oh, we came back 3-1. That's why. Because Mr. LeBron, I got to tell my own stories and paint my own narrative guy. Jeez. This is what he does.
Which he knew Austin Reeves was going to be special.
Did you see that? The very first practice, LeBron said, he knew Austin Reeves was going to be great. He knows greatness. He's been around this league for 20 years. It's like, dude, you're like listening to any old man in a clubhouse after your round of golf. Like, it's just the same person.
Go golfing with LeBron. Ask how many hole-in-ones he's hit.
There they go. Got to bring up Rocky Marciano.
He's like playing with Kim Jong-un. 18 hole-in-ones.
He has a 70 at Shinnecock.
From the tips.
Never golfed before, though.
Doesn't need to. Just picks the club up, swings it, and boom. He's all done. Speaking of golf, now's a great time to book your stay and play at Tullymore Golf Resort, Canadian Lakes, offering not one but two championship courses. Tullymore and St. Ives, located an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. Up north golf without the drive. But if you're up north, it's down south golf without the drive because it's conveniently located right smack dab in the middle of the state. So what you need to do is log on to TullymoreGolf.com, use your Twitter fingers, get on your computer, TullymoreGolf.com, or your smartphone, or pick up the phone and call 1-800-972-4837. 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. Going to continue on this conversation next year. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go. No, first base.
Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street, you're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Imagine this, a day filled with indulgence, bursting with excitement, and packed with extraordinary moments that build memories to last a lifetime. A day that is unmistakably yours, at the place that is undeniably spectacular. Whether you're winning big, dining lavishly, or relaxing oh so comfortably, it's your getaway reimagined at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, a Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you right along with us. Couple text messages. Robert Saleh lost them the Jets game. No, you don't say that. You know this is illegal on this program. We got the Saleh slaps running around out here. He's a hometown guy. Glad we beat him. Is what it is. Glad we beat him. Glad we took care of business. I had the segment from 300 all popped up, and then I accidentally exited out of it. But the green wall is here, and Ryan is ready for the defense of Draymond Green. Last night's game.
See, I already did it because we were talking about LeBron and how he likes to make up everything.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah, I just can't believe. I mean, LeBron would have won RBC Heritage. He plays faster than Patrick Cantlay.
Total spin and damage control here by Mr. Elke, which I do appreciate. The beginning of the game, the end of the first quarter, there were 40 points scored between the Kings and Warriors combined. When I tell you frantic, I mean frantic pace. There were 34 turnovers in the game, 20 by Golden State, 14 by the Kings. I mean, the guys were bricking shots left and right. Ball was going up in transition. They were turning over, dribble it off a foot, bounce it over here. I mean, it was absolutely insanity. Malik Monk did it again. De'Aaron Fox did it again. I mean, my goodness. I am in shock over the Sacramento Kings. And I shouldn't be, because Golden State has been absolutely atrocious all year long on the road. But they now find themselves in a 2-0 hole. And the NBA, more than likely, is going to suspend Draymond Green. Now, he might have some sort of case here where he's already got in the front, like, oh, Sabonis grabbed my leg. What was I supposed to do? Not stomp on him. Do everything in your power not to put your foot on the guy's chest. Well, Sabonis faked it. Okay. He did. You're right. Did he need to lay there as if he got hit with an anvil? No. Did it work? Yes. Does it work nonstop in basketball? Flopping? Yes. Do I hate it? Yes.
Ask Joel Embiid. He was flopping all over the floor. He actually hurt himself from flopping yesterday. He flopped so hard he landed on his hip and then was holding his hip.
Guy flops like a fish. James Harden flops like a fish. Like, it's in the game now. There is actually a rule against it where in college basketball, the referees roll out their arms like they are serving you.
Well, that was only for the first 4 games of this season. Then,
that's right. It changes then after.
Because it was a point of emphasis, and then they realized, like, wow, we'd have to call flopping on everyone, which you should, because it's in college, they're not really good at it.
Get it out of the game. Get it out of the game. But you can't do what Draymond did.
Yeah, we should just ban feet like we ban charges.
It's just ridiculous. The bonus, like, I'm down on the ground, I'm trying to protect myself. Draymond's like, oh, I'm not that flexible. What am I supposed to do? I don't try not to step on his chest. That's what you're supposed to do. Like, you don't think that we're going to see this. And you have a prior record.
To be fair, people have been stomped before and it has not been seen. There's been like 3 instances this year. They're just not Draymond Green.
Well, it's also not in the middle of the key in the balls.
Oh, no, it has happened in the middle. I have seen it a few times in games. But it's Draymond Green, so it will definitely be seen.
Yeah, I will need to see some video proof of. I wonder if we could search that NBA stomps, right? But he's got priors. That's what it is. It's no different than the law, right? You have a history of bad behavior. You know what that means? You're more likely to do what? Behave poorly. This is the playoffs. Everybody's eyes are on it. Are you nuts? What is wrong with you? For you people coming to his defense, my good buddy Graham Couch, what are you trying to defend right now? Look, Mo Wagner, I believe it was Mo Wagner, was involved in an altercation. And Killian Hayes punched him in the back of the head. That's what happens when you start yapping. Killian was in the wrong. Got tossed out of the game. I don't know if I do this. So you need to make me aware if I am doing this. All right? I'm calling all of you to task if you're listening. As a state divided, our dysfunctional family here. I am on the maize and blue side of the fence. If you think that I give a Michigan player preferential treatment at the professional level because of the school that he went to, call me out on it. Call me out on it. I went to the Itavian Brown story, the defensive lineman at Michigan State. I know, Spartan fans, clutch your pearls. The issue with this, they were like, what about Mozzie Smith? Was Mozzie Smith beating people up in the tunnel? Was there video of that? You have priors.
Oh, the beauty of that was and I said this when MSU got into the tunnel fight of trying to play the moral high horse of like, well, we at least suspended him. Look how good our coach is. You did the bare minimum. Don't applaud the bare minimum. Yeah. Guy was drunk and got pulled over, had guns in his car.
What is up with all these college-age kids with firearms? I'm telling you, the youth is so reckless right now. I don't get it, man. It wasn't like that in our era. It wasn't. I'm old man yells at cloud.
We were just throwing eggs.
It was yeah.
It was not this bad.
Oh,
this is like Belle Isle 20 years ago, but worse, and it's nationwide.
The thing I would say it's more acted upon than it used to be. I knew kids with guns in high school.
Kids had guns in your high school?
Yes.
In school?
No, not in the school, but I'm saying I knew kids that carried weapons outside of school. Yes.
Why?
What do you mean? I mean, it's not
what
like
kind of activities were they into? Like selling crack?
They were, yeah. I
Dealing
mean,
drugs?
I don't know what they were doing.
More
I don't
likely,
ask.
selling narcotics. More than likely.
Then our school got restructured, and people go away.
It's like this is an epidemic. This might be one of the bigger crises facing this country right now. But Itavian Brown gets dismissed because he's got priors, folks. This stuff follows you. It haunts you. And it like that's in the Draymond Green. It's not my take on Mozzie Smith when it came out. Everybody looks bad. Everybody should have had a statement. Hit the podium early. This is what happened. Suspend him for that game, and then carry on with whatever the case is going to be. My recommendation to the NCAA would be this, and this would go with the NFL in partnership with the NBA, the National Hockey League, Major League Baseball, Major League Water Polo, National Highlight League, all of them. The NCAA should, in association with the powers that be, any gun-related charge and or offense is a minimum 1-year suspension. Well, it's my junior year, and it's my junior year. I'm going to declare for the draft. I got a gun charge while in college, so I'm suspended from all activities. This is like until we are punishing people in a manner that sets a tone and an example for this behavior, it's going to continue. And so, yeah, if I was the NCAA, Mozzie Smith, for example, happened before the Indiana game, you are not eligible to play in agreement, in association with the NFL, until that suspension year-long is over. Mikey Williams going to Memphis. You're out for a year. Amani Bates, a year. Itavian Brown, a year. Like, at what point did we say that, you know what, we probably don't need these people carrying guns? If you're going to college or you're in college and you're a scholarship athlete, I don't see how taking a gun charge you can look past it. I don't. And so if you think that somehow, some way I'm going to come to the defense of a Michigan player at the next level because, I went to Michigan. Frank Clark got a charge. Domestic violence in Sandusky. That's why everyone's, Frank Clark. Like, did you forget? Because I didn't. Joe Mixon, did you forget? I didn't. All right, let's get to phone lines. I think GB Ritz is on hold. Good morning, Mr. Ritz.
Anthony, good morning. Have you got any breath left, any wind left? You've been rambling for 5 minutes in putting across your point. Very, very good of you, Anthony. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I got tons of air. I'm full of hot air, as some people would say.
I could almost agree with that. I'm sure Dan will, too. So, anyway, to start it off, what I'm getting is Draymond Green went Ndamukong Suh last night, and that's a big story. So I don't follow basketball, so I don't care what Draymond Green did. So that's okay. It's not okay what he did, but it's okay that you're talking about it.
It doesn't affect me, so I don't have to worry about it. Very, very, very 2023 of you, Mr. Ritz. Very 2023. Yes.
Well, I just want to say that the Wings had an improved season under new head coach Derek Lalonde. It was a good season. There was definitely a roller coaster ride. We had a great start. We were climbing up the roller coaster, and then we got to the top mid-season and took the big plunge as we crested the tracks and went down to the bottom and then up again and then down again. And Rasmussen got hurt, and that was just about the end of the season at that point once the trades happened. So his injury was pretty key. I think down the stretch we missed him more than you would think we would have missed him. So his grit, his going into the hard places in front of the net and stuff was missed. And so next season will be good. We'll have to see if Eisman makes any trades during the draft week. I'm looking forward to that to see what kind of action he does. Maybe he keeps them all, but I'm thinking he might trade a player and some picks and maybe bring in a proven scorer. We definitely need one.
Yeah, no doubt about that. We got to, as he said in his presser, we got to get better in every area. And I was like, well, that's nice.
They got to get tougher, too. I mean, they need to bring in some taller physical players that can play the game, not just to be physical, but they need, we need some toughness on this team. But Ottawa just proved that to us. So
too many. GB, I'll tell you this, and I could say this. Too much Western European influence. I need some Eastern Euro guys. I need some guys from those big concrete project buildings they have in Eastern Europe with a hole blown in the wall. I need some guys coming out of the old Yugoslavia that are just that mean, nasty sons of guns. That's what this team needs. We got a lot of we got a lot of Swedes. Swedes are nice. Friendly people. I don't need friends. I need angry people. I need people coming out of a war-torn country with a little bit of hate in their heart. That's what we need.
Well, who cares? What about Canadians that can do that? Canadians can be rough and tough. Why do or it just doesn't always have to be from Europe. But I get it. We need grit. So that's what we'll look forward to going into next year. And but here's the thing now too. I'm going to really jump ship here because the weather isn't conducive for this sport right now. But did you watch the RBC Heritage finish to that? How cool was that? The storylines that they had going on there. You had the last year's two playoff participants in Spieth, the eventual winner of that in Cantley, and you had Fitzpatrick that grew up on that course and had a lot of personal family history there, and he ends up winning it in a playoff this year because Spieth just didn't hit his two putts hard enough to hold his line into the hole on both of those, which he should have won. But congratulations to Fitzpatrick. He played a hell of a tournament.
That he did. And, tough to see Spieth with some opportunities there. He was so close, and then, it disappears in the blink of an eye. And that's playoff golf. I mean, you got to take care of business early because the longer it goes, the longer you're giving your opponent a shot to be able to, win that heads-up match. And that's what makes match play, and that's what makes playoff golf so interesting.
Oh, yeah. Well, he put his shot. Fitzpatrick put his final shot within 14 inches of the hole or 12, a foot of the hole. So I mean, you're right. And Spieth knew it. I mean, he had his opportunities. He had 2 great putts, 2 great looks at it, and he just didn't get the job done. So it's unfortunate. He would have been a back-to-back winner, and they were going through all those scenarios. It was actually a fun tournament to watch, coming right off of the Masters like that. 2 weeks in a row, we had some good golf, video on TV. That was a good watch. So
and Cantley and his slow play need to be fined. I got to fine him. That's the only you got to speed up, or we're gonna just fine you because this is. I saw something 96 minutes or something crazy. John Rahm and Brooks Koepka waited at the Masters for that lunatic. You got to hit into him. You don't have a choice. Either you're going to let us play through or we're hitting into you. That's what you do in the regular course. Go send a warning shot, one across the bow. The next one's a 2-wire stinger just coming right at it is what it is. You got to let us through.
You wouldn't make many friends out there, Anthony.
I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to play golf in under 3.5 hours. I brought my friends with me. I don't need to make any friends while I'm out there.
No, I understand. I mean, I think they all can get, not all of them. They're the ones that play fast continue to play fast, but I think there's a high percentage of them that can get too methodical in what they're doing out there as far as looking at the wind and waiting around and making sure they got the right this and that. And
lunatics. Absolute lunatics. They're the worst people on the planet. Nothing worse. Hey, GB, I appreciate it. I got to tell everybody about DraftKings, but thank you for the call, my friend. By the way, if you didn't know this, Austin Reeves, the guy who LeBron says from the first practice knew he was going to be a star. You know what his nickname is? According to Basketball Reference, Hillbilly Kobe. That's what they call that. I've never heard anybody call him that, but Hillbilly Kobe. It's your fun fact of the day. It's playoff time. That means big hoops action with the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the association. Get in on all the excitement every single game with the touch of a button. New customers, make a $5 pregame moneyline bet, score $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. Plus, everyone can hop into the no-sweat same-game parlays every day during the playoffs. Open up the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Opt in and then place the same-game parlay on any NBA game. If it doesn't hit, no worries. You get a bonus bet back up to $10. Simple as that. Download the app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. New customers, $5 pregame moneyline bet. Score $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. Only DraftKings. Only the promo code HUGE. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline at 800-270-7117. 21 plus Michigan-only bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Opt-in is required. One bonus bet issued based on the amount of the initial losing NBA bet. Eligibility, wagering, deposit restrictions do apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. For Dana, Ron, and Anthony, so long. See you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Michigan Sports Network.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! Go! No, first base! Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
From planting a simple seed to managing a global food supply, growing, processing, and distributing food is the backbone of America. You deal with food safety and labor issues, cost control, and not to mention Mother Nature. But do you have time to explore research development and biotechnical tax credits? Properly administer payroll for temporary employees. Ensure that you're operating at your most profitable? That's where we come in. We're Bean Garter. And while your business is America's food supply, our business is helping you run your business better. We'll assist with tax credits, assess your processes and controls, and so much more. And while we may not be able to help you plant your crops, we can help you realize a rich financial harvest. From the family farm to worldwide distribution of all the things you grow, grow your business better. Experience, service, expertise, and simplicity at Bean Garter. Find us online, beangarter.com. Bean Garter.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTap at freddythepizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com. Or email freddythepizzaman@gmail.com.
Huge here for all the Mr. Car Wash locations across Michigan. You're going to want to look into that unlimited monthly pass that I use. Superfly Hayes, my producer, uses it. I can get my SUV washed as often as I like for one low price. You can sign up today. Just go to MrCarWash.com or stop by your local Mr. Car Wash location here in Michigan for the one close to you. And to get that unlimited pass, go to MrCarWash.com.